Okay, guys, so as we've said before, argumentative writing is a type of writing that has been added this year. It was cancelled in the previous years. They added it this year to the required types of writing, and actually it's not difficult as long as we understand its basic parts. Let me zoom in the screen so you can read more comfortably. First of all, the argumentative writing is when you, as an author, are arguing with or against. Do you support? Do you oppose? Are you with or are you against? This is exactly the purpose of an argumentative essay. First of all, what you need to know is that there are some basic steps that you should keep in mind before you start writing. Number one, you should interest the reader in the situation. You should grab the reader's attention and make them think if it's worth reading about or not. Explain the controversy or problem. We always explain the problem that we are discussing in the introduction. Yani, can I know if you are with or against before I know exactly what's your topic? No. So in the introduction, you should explain to me what is the main problem that you are discussing. After that, in the thesis statement of the introduction, you tell me your side. Where do you stand? Okay, I strongly support, I strongly oppose, I'm with, I'm against. Okay? And after that, in the body paragraph, you need to convince the reader that your side is the best one to take. So you need to be in the first two body paragraphs, you should be trying to convince the reader that your opinion is the best. Your stance is the most logical. Okay? And after that, in the last body paragraph, which will conclusion, in the last body paragraph, you should refute any objections they may be thinking about as they read. What do we mean by this? Let me tell you. In the last body paragraph, you should tell me that people who have an opinion different from mine believe so and so. You need to tell me that what the opposing opinion that is different from yours, what does it say? And after that, you refute it, and you prove it wrong. So, last body paragraph, counter argument plus refutation. Counter argument, to be very transparent with your reader. You should show your reader that it's true that this is my opinion, but other people have a different opinion and it is so and so. If you are with, for example, protecting children from early marriage, you are with. You should tell me, but some people or critics to my proposal believe that the earlier they marry off girls, the smoother their lives will be and the more lenient they will be with their husbands. Listen, isn't this the opposing opinion? You should mention it to remain transparent and very objective with your reader. Got me? Yeah. You will understand this better once we check out the sample at hand. Okay? But I mean till now. In the introduction, you explain the problem that you are discussing, and in the thesis, you tell me if you are with or against. Then, body paragraph 1, you give me the first reason why you have this opinion. In the second body paragraph, you give me another reason why you are with or against. Third body paragraph or the last body paragraph, you should tell me the opinion that is different from your own, plus you prove it wrong. Okay? Let's check out the sample that we have at hand. Definitely here, I'm not going to go over the outline because it explains to you exactly what I've been explaining now. In the introduction, you explain the subject, and then you make a clear thesis statement where you mention your position. Sam, please. And then in the body paragraph, you give me the first reason, and you give me support, maybe examples, maybe extra elaboration. And then in the last body paragraph, you tell me what other positions do people take on the subject, which is the counter argument, ya Hadi. And then you refute it by telling me why you believe it's wrong. Why do you reject it? So far, so good? Okay, let's check out the sample that we have in front of us. So I'm gonna get back to this structure once we finish reading the sample. It becomes easier for you to understand. But all in all, ya Karim, it says in the final body paragraph مش يعني conclusion, I repeat, last body paragraph. يعني the last paragraph before the conclusion. You should divide it into two parts. The first part is the counter argument. The second part is the refutation. Counter argument, you can start it by saying critics of this proposal believe, or people who have an opinion different from mine believe so and so. So here you tell me what others believe, and then you refute it by saying, yet this improvement or this opinion or this step is at the expense of the environment, or here, depending on the topic here. But I mean, you try to prove the idea wrong. So here you tell me what other people believe, and here you tell me why you believe that their opinion is wrong. Okay, so counter argument and refutation. Let's check out the sample at hand. Model argumentative essay. Please, guys, I want you all to be fully attentive right now. I'm highlighting every single part of the essay. Yalla, can we start? Okay. So, as you can see, I highlighted the basic parts of this essay. Let's begin with the hook. The hook. Health is a priceless resource that should be cherished and invested in. However, most of the nations in the world are spending more money. Miss, Kareem, focus. So most of the nations in the world are spending more money on space research than on health issues. Look at the thesis statement, please. Although space research increases the human's knowledge about outer space, funding health research improves the health, boosts the economy, and enhances the social relationships. So from this thesis statement, Ya Ibrahim, does the author appear to be with or against spending money on space research? On space? Against spending money on space research and with spending money on health. Because spending money on health research helps us in three fields. It improves the health, boosts the economy, enhances the social relationships. So now, obviously, we will have four body paragraphs, one talking about how health research improves health, another one, how it boosts the economy, a third one about how it enhances social relationships, and then a body paragraph with the counter argument plus refutation. Let's see. Body paragraph 1. Financing health research. Let me see if we can still zoom it in a bit more. Okay, yeah. Usually when the connection is struggling, this happens. Okay. Okay, guys, look at the body paragraph 1. Financing health research is medically beneficial. So here we're talking about its health or medical benefits. Such research is certainly effective in the medical realm, in the medical field, since it offers humans tremendous services in finding the necessary cure for many of the widespread fatal diseases. For example, see how I support my opinion? Now I'm talking about the health benefits of funding medical research instead of space research. The first effect is that it's very important to fight fatal or deadly diseases. For example, the statistics showed that cancer is the second cause of death in the US, and the rate of death due to this disease is 1,600 people per day, only in the USA. So only in the USA, 1,600 people die daily due to cancer. Besides, for over a century, the National Institutes of Health scientists have paved the way for important discoveries such as developing MRI, which is a type of medical imaging, understanding how viruses can cause cancer, providing insights into cholesterol control, and so on. Every now and then, a new disease appears. And this, Ya Karim, requires new studies to find the cure. Thus, funding health issues makes people live longer and healthier. So based on this paragraph, is the author trying to tell us why it's worth it to spend money on health research? You'll be helping patients in curing cancer, in medical imaging, in controlling cholesterol, blah, blah, blah. Isn't this more effective than funding a space mission to Mars? Yes, definitely. Okay, because as a human, you don't benefit much from having people stepping on the moon or stepping on Mars or discovering life on some planet. It's not wrong, but which one is more of a priority? Human health, of course. Let's check out now, please, guys. Let's check out body paragraph 2 to see the second benefit of health research. Look at the topic sentence. Supporting health research is also beneficial economically. Let's see how. In fact, health researchers cost the financing countries less than space researchers do. For example, the Apollo program that sent humans to space cost American taxpayers $150 billion, while the various cancer researchers cost the National Cancer Institute only $5 billion per year. So which one is more money saving, space research or health research? Definitely. This huge amount of money spent on space programs could have funded the worthwhile cancer researches. Besides, this money could have also been spent on researches to find cure for other fatal diseases such as AIDS, swine flu, or polio. What's polio? Shalal. Okay, swine flu, influenza al-khanazir. And AIDS, yeah guys, swine and pig. Okay, and AIDS, you know what's AIDS? Okay, it's immunity deficiency virus. This will enable us to save the lives of millions of people and undoubtedly assist in boosting the planet's economy. So also, if we want to talk on an economic level, $150 billion that we pay yearly on space research could help in funding health research, not only for cancer, but for several other illnesses like AIDS and flu and polio. Okay, let's see now the third benefit of funding health research. They said here, it's very important, please focus on this paragraph. Topic sentence 3. Moreover, funding health research is efficient socially. Let's see why. Let's see how, actually. Pay attention. Spending money on space research at the expense of finding cure for fatal diseases will separate people in the same society instead of bringing them together. How can this happen? People who are inflicted with fatal diseases and their families will neglect the social activities such as the social visits, sports activities, social gatherings, and going out to dinner with friends. Imagine a person suffering from cancer pains and he wants to socialize and go do activities and play sports and join a gym and do visits. Impossible. People who are sick and in pain will gradually lose their social life. So definitely not spending enough money on medical research will end up in separating people in society. Look at this anecdote in purple. Sometimes when you want to give extra elaboration, extra exemplification, you can use an anecdote. Look at this one, please. Last year, my 17-year-old friend Fadi was diagnosed cancerous. He was an active and smart teenager whose dream was to be a great doctor. But that atrocious disease prevented him from achieving his dream. That disease made him helpless and hopeless. It isolated him from his society, especially when the symptoms of this disease started to aggravate, to worsen. After 10 months of suffering, my friend died. Death put an end to his intolerable suffering. So, from this short anecdote, we explained not only the pains of those diseases, but also that they are crushing families, breaking dreams, affecting people's social life and social activities. Now, please open your eyes and ears to the last body paragraph where we write the counter argument plus refutation. Please, guys, pay attention. In yellow, Yasmina, we can see right now the counter argument or the opinion that is different from that of the author. What do you expect, Yani, the counter argument to be? The other opinion, which is it's better to spend money on space research, not on health research. Listen to this. Critics of this proposal believe that money should be spent on space research since it increases the human's knowledge. By learning about the world around them, people will understand the world they live in more. Besides, they will get information about their origin and about how life has begun on Earth. Isn't this the opposing opinion? Definitely. Now it's time to refute it. Now it's time to prove it wrong. Let's see. Yet. What is yet? What type of transitional word? Contrast. Excellent. Yet, obtaining this knowledge, in space knowledge, is at the expense of humans' health and lives. How can the millions who are suffering now from fatal diseases benefit from the knowledge about their planet or origin? This knowledge has led to many discoveries and products, but these discoveries are worthless when compared with the humans' health and lives. Thus, space exploration is obviously an unwanted business in the presence of the major health crises on our planet. This is crises, not crisis. Crisis ends with IS. The plural of crisis is crises. It's written with an ES in the end. So did you notice, Ya Karim and Brahim, how in the last body paragraph, we mentioned the counter argument or the opinion that is opposite from our own and refuted it? It means we proved it wrong. We said, as a human, how would I benefit if I died, but I discovered life on Mars, for example? Does it make sense? No. So I'm trying to prove it that no, although it's important, space exploration is important, but it's not a priority when compared to human life or death. Conclusion, guys. What do you think the conclusion should include? A restatement of my stance, my opinion. Last but not least, all the funding countries should be cognizant of the fact, aware of the fact, that spending money on health research is more beneficial and more significant than spending it on space research. Didn't we repeat our opinion here? Our dear planet is facing detrimental crises, so countries must get their heads out of the clouds. This is an idiom. It means countries should stay real and help the people in need on Earth. Did we deliver our message? Yes. Definitely. So that's it, guys. In case you have any questions related to argumentative writing, we'll share your questions by next time. Okay?